Okay, good evening. It is Tuesday, April 9th. We are here for a public hearing regarding the Community Development Block Grant agenda. Let's do a roll call.
Sure.
First.
Ms. Brewer,
Here.
Ms. Cheney,
Here.
Ms. Mail,
Here.
Ms. Kramer.
Um,
Mr. Fisher and Ms. Snyder are both absent.
So,
Well, we need a motion to excuse them, but nobody's heard from them, right?
Right.
So I would say, I'm not gonna excuse them, but you guys can decide what you wanna do.
So is there a motion to excuse?
Motion to excuse David Fisher, Ashley Snyder, and Stephen Dinsmore.
So you don't have to excuse the mayor. Is there a second to that motion? So the motion fails.
Motion to not excuse David Fisher and Ashley Snyder.
Motion to not excuse, only because you should have been here last week too.
Yeah.
So the motion failed, takes care of the not excused part.
Okay, great.
So then you need to elect a pro tem to lead the meeting.
do we have a nomination for pro tem?
Let's nominate you. You're already in the seat.
Yeah, you're already up there, right?
Second,
I'll second it.
all in favor?
Who's taking minutes?
I'm taking the minutes,
Oh, you're taking the minutes too?
making notes.
Oh.
All right, so let's see, that was Brittany motioned, right?
Correct. Ms. Cheney seconded it. All were in favor.
Ron, do you have an agenda where I can help take notes for this so that Charlotte is not doing all of it?
There is, actually, I'll go ahead and do the minutes. If
Okay.
Great.
I can borrow that one.
Yeah. There you go.
Thank you.
All right, we will now open it up for any public comments on ideas for the block grant. This is a grant that is in a phase of funding for 2024, 2025, and 2026. Historically, we have used these funds for, this is the second iteration of our funding for this. I believe it's the second. Previously, when we have received these funds, we've used them for code enforcement, demolition of buildings. That's about the extent of my notes. And I think historically, we've received about 10 to 15,000 each year. So with that, if anybody has any recommendations or comments, the floor is open.
This is from the public, right? It's not from us, right?
So this is an introduction to this process being open. So we'll have another public hearing on Monday, April 15th at 6 p.m. to talk about, it's next Monday, in order to discuss some formulated ideas or to hear additional comments from the public. And the period, I believe, is open until April 26th to accept comments from the public.
And then eligible uses for the funding in this upcoming cycle include projects and public infrastructure in low to moderate income areas, as well as acquisition and or demolition of blighted buildings and public facilities such as parks and senior centers. So,
What is the amount of the funding?
it varies. In previous years, it's been 10 to 15,000 per year.
Correct.
The first one you mentioned, what does that involve? I'm not so sure I understood the very first one. Repeat the first one.
The first eligible use.
Yeah.
Projects and public infrastructure in low to moderate income areas.
So you could use it for demolition of blighted buildings or projects related to increasing revenue to help projects that would support the community.
Do we have any blighted buildings, on our list? Are we actually talking about that we actually do have in our community?
So the area that we would consider blighted right now is the Stover Avenue cul-de-sac. We have open properties there and then 3 that we're getting ready to condemn and demolish. We just are currently doing demolition on North Weehee. So projects, there are 3 buildings there that are in process of being removed now. So there's a number of projects in the village that we're working on.
Do we know, all of the things that are listed, do we know that we have enough funding to do those things? The demolition thing, the first item seems a little more expensive than what we can afford. Is this something that we actually?
So the North Weehee project is funded by grants that we've received from Hamilton County, which are aside from this. These are monies that are provided by Housing and Urban Development. So we can, in the past, probably 7 years, we have used these funds towards building code and property maintenance enforcement. However, in previous years prior to that, small grants were given to residents to do basic infrastructure repairs on the outside of their homes. So there's a number of things that can be considered. What we're doing now is just trying to collect ideas about how we want to be able to go forward with this program.
How are we gonna come up with whatever project eligible for the grant? How do we come up with that decision?
Council will decide.
Brainstorming.
Okay, how's the process? Do we vote on it?
No, they're just looking for input.
Oh, this is,
From the
okay.
public.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, all right.
yeah, so if you have ideas, share them with
Yeah,
us.
we're here to listen.
And then-
Yeah.
And then we'll take a look we'll compile all of that data
Okay.
and then take a look at the questions you're asking. Is feasibility, is this within the guidelines, all of that stuff, and then make a recommendation from there.
I apologize for those kind of crazy questions, but I don't think I understood the whole thing from the start, this is certainly not the first time
Yeah,
we've approached the subject.
nope, you're good.
Okay,
You're good, yeah.
great questions.
Great
Some
question,
perfectly
yeah.
relevant.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
could
they're
also-
not
This is a small grant, 10 to 15. This could be used for something like the parks, like the walking path, correct?
Mhm.
Like we've heard a lot of feedback from the park survey,
Yep.
from
The strategic
strategic
plan.
plan.
Mhm.
We Thrive, I believe, like that was an idea for that group as well. So something like applying for completion of the walking path would be a good idea.
Yeah.
And feasible in that amount of funding, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Or a basketball court, that's been brought up.
Yeah, all park improvements.
So with $10,000 or $15,000, where would you spend it in the village?
I have no idea.
No?
This can be combined, correct, with other
Yeah,
grants?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would
So no
ask,
answer?
I would ask though, if indeed, I'm just for an example, if we did the basketball court.
Yeah.
And I remember some years ago, they were talking about basketball courts. Well, then there are all kinds of things expenses that follow. Even as simple as the basketball court.
Right, the upkeep.
Yeah,
Right.
and, the other problems that come along with gathering of young people and things like that. So, I guess would there be, you'd have to go with hours or guards or anything that would involve another expense, so ongoing expense.
Well, I think one thing is also we have to have something for the youth to do, right? So part of the concern we've heard is like there's nothing for the kids to do in the park, especially older kiddos. So having something like a basketball, we've also gotten complaints about kids playing basketball in their driveways or in the
Oh,
street.
definitely.
So putting it at a park solves that issue. And it gives kids something to do with just an empty field. But I hear you, because like we have the baseball field and it's not upkept. So people don't tend to use that, it's my impression. Because it's got grass, all sorts of issues. We don't actually keep up the sand.
So we don't maintain that?
If you go look at it right now, it doesn't look like it. In my opinion, I mean, I'm not speaking as the official from the village, but it doesn't look maintained to me.
That goes right back to your comment that, you know,
Right.
these things take money to upkeep them.
Which is why we don't have a pool anymore.
Exactly. Exactly.
I have a problem with basketball. It's just, as I said, with anything, the ongoing expense of maintaining it.
Yeah, no, it's a good point.
Either of you?
No more comments.
Well,
Just
I-
motion to
So the
adjourn.
comment that we'll have another meeting on the 15th, is it the same as this?
Yes.
More public comment?
Yes.
Just another opportunity.
No opinion? No?
She was saying about a lot of youth parent gathering and that there might be trouble, but it seems to me there'd be less trouble if it's really close to the police station
Yeah.
than if it's someplace else.
And it's actually need to focus on.
I mean, we think that though, there was some issues with graffiti. I know, and it's like, man, you're bold, you spray painting the bathroom right across the street from the police station, but it happened.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Any other comments?
I think the Walking Dead got so many votes
yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
right.
that should be ranked way up there.
So have we, did we start the process with the park design from a month or so
No,
ago?
not yet.
No, okay. Now, could this money go, when and if we decide on a park design, when we're ready to enhance the park, could this be put towards that? This money here?
It could be.
Okay, I don't know what the timeline looked like, I guess is why I'm asking, like how fast this money had to be spent compared to the timeline of the park development.
So in clarity, this is a 3-year funding grant.
So that's a
So there would
2004.
be $10,000 to $15,000 for each year.
Okay. Okay. Because while I want the walking path done, I'm concerned, I don't remember where I was under the impression that it might involve like regrading. And that's not cheap, so. Like if we were to just put out concrete, sure, but if you have to like do something to prevent the water and all that, it's not cheap.
All right. Last call for public comments. All right. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn. I'll second it.
All right. All in favor? Aye. All right. This meeting is closed. Thank you all for coming.
We
Um,
clear?
And now, does HRC, is that where you're?